Right, here's an introduction to place value. Actually, this is probably more like a review. If you'll notice, this is our place value chart. And you notice it's got a yellow section, a pink section, and a blue section. Each one of these sections houses a different place value family. The yellow is to millions, the pink is to thousands, the blue is to ones, and each one of these are called a period, place value periods. And as you've probably figured out, that we separate, when we have different periods, we separate them with a comma in each one of them. And each one of these represents a different value. And of course, you know what some of these are as we've gone over them in class. But there are different ways to write numbers. One way is the standard form. That's just the way that we write numbers every day. Here's an example of a standard form. We can just take that number and write it over here in our place value. 734,654,123. That's one way we can write the numbers, and the most common way. Another way that we've got is expanded word form. All that means is that we take all the words that we would say up here when reading this number and spell out every word. So real quick, let's say this number together. 713,654,123. Now for expanded form, we would spell out every one of those words. That's what we would have. 713,654,123. The next way we could write numbers is called short word form. This is a little bit easier. I have not seen much of it being used, but with this one you use both numbers and words. Use the numbers that you have in each period, and then you simply spell out the period family that it's in. Here's an example of that. We've got the 713, 713. It's in the millions place, we write out the million. 654, 654,000, then 123. And normally we don't usually put the ones or say the ones when we write the words out. The next way we can say the numbers is, I know you're familiar with this because we've done it before in class, is the expanded notation. That's where you take all the numbers or all the digits in the number, break them down in their own personal place value. Again, it's still the same number, just broken down. 700 million. Then 10 million. 3 million. 600,000. 50,000. 4,123. These are just a few ways of reading the numbers that we have in everyday life. Then once we get familiar with the place value, we can compare and order them all the way through the millions. Now to start off with, you know how to compare this. You are perfectly comfortable with knowing that 2 is less than 10. Would you rather have 2 pennies or 10 pennies? And of course, you know again, 2 is less than 10. We also know a little bit bigger number some of us feel comfortable with. We have 213 is greater than 98. Would you rather have $213 or $98? This is the larger number. However, if we have a bigger number, such as this number and this number, let's say the number together, 213,456,867, and we want to compare it to 213,456,750. That may be a few too many digits for us to work with, but this can be done. First thing you want to do is start with counting the digits. Do they both have the same amount of digits? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They both have 9 digits. So what can we do next? Let's look at the very first digit and the greatest place value. In this case happens to be the 100 millions. They both have 2, so we can't use that. What's next? The first number has a 1. The second number has a 1. Same digit, keep going. Here we have a 3 and a 3, keep going. And what you want to do is you want to keep going until you find a digit that is different, if there are any. A 5 and a 5, 6 and a 6, 8 and we have a different digit. This is an 8, this is a 7. Which one of those digits is a greater digit? If you said 8, you're correct. Now because 8 is greater, we could stop right there and just simply put in our greater sign. The other 2 digits don't count. So this is a digit. It's going to tell us what's greater than or less than. Okay, let's talk about rounding the larger numbers. Once we are familiar with the place value up to the millions, we can round our numbers no matter how large they are. And we round it similar to the way that we rounded our numbers that went up to hundreds or 900s. We still have our little saying about if it's 5 or more, let it soar, 4 or less, let it rest. And one of the things we need to do, let's say we wanted to round our number to the nearest 100,000. The first thing we would want to do is find out which of our digits is in the 100,000s. So an easy way of doing that is just go ahead and rewrite this number right here up here in our place value chart. So we have 3, 4, 2, that's 342,675,891. Now which one of these numbers is in the, and I forgot what I was going to round it to. Well, we're going to say we're going to round it to our 10,000s. I really have no idea what I said. Y'all bear with me. So it looks as if this 7, the 7 right here, is in the 10,000s place. So we know we're going to do something with this 7 right here. And just like in the previous chapters, the number to the right tells us what to do with that digit. Now if you'll recall our little point that we used, if this number to the right, if this is 5 or more, then our 7 will soar. If this is 4 or less, then our 7 will rest. So look at this digit for a minute. Is it 5 or more or 4 or less? Right, it's 5 or more. So therefore, our 7 is going to soar to 8. But now this is where it gets a little bit different than what we did in the past. Alright, 7 is going to soar to 8. Then all the numbers behind it are going to turn to zeros. And we're going to keep everything in front of it just as it is. So therefore, to round 342,675,891 to the nearest 10,000ths place. Our rounded number is 342,680,000. We don't have to worry about the rest of it because it's turned to zeros and there's nothing we need to say. So let's try another using the same number. What if we wanted to round it to the nearest millions? What would we need to do? The first thing we need to do is find out which of these digits is in the millions place. Now it looks as if this 2 was in the millions place. So we know we're going to do something with this 2. And our 6 is going to tell us what to do with it. So let's look at this number just for a minute, this digit. Is this 5 or more, or 4 or less? If you said 5 or more, you'd be correct. So what is our 2 going to do? It's going to soar. If it's 5 or more, this will soar. So our 2 is going to soar to 3. Everything behind it is going to turn to zeros. And everything in front of it we're going to keep just like it is. So if we want to round the number 342,675,891 to the nearest millions place, we're going to have 343 million. That's all we have to say with it. Let's try one more. Got the same number written again. I'm going to move these over a little bit, just because we're done with them for right now. So let's say we wanted to move this number to the nearest 10 millions place. What do we need to do? We need to find out which one of these digits is in the 10 millions place. Looks like our 4 is. So we know we're going to do something with this digit right here, and the number to the right is going to tell us what to do with it. So let's think of our point. Is this number 5 or more, or 4 or less? If you said 4 or less, you are correct. So if this is 4 or less, then this number will rest, right? So what we're going to do is going to keep our 4. Everything behind it turns to zeros. And we're going to keep everything in front of it. So therefore, if we want to round 342,675,891 to the nearest 10 millions place, it would be 340 million. Everything else turns to zeros. And now it's your turn. With the same number again, let's round this to the nearest thousands. To the nearest thousands. You know what to do. Go ahead and pause the video for a minute and see what you come up with to round this digit to the nearest thousands. Go ahead and pause the video. Alright, did you get 342,676,000 for your answer? If so, you were absolutely right. 8 is 5 or more, and so this number soared. Let me know how you did.